Hello everybody and welcome to another SoTellUs time. Today we're going to be discussing how to build a $100 million business. And I'm really excited about this episode because we have a special guest today and he is amazing. I'm going to give you a little intro of who Damian Godoy is. He has a bachelor's in business and an MBA in energy management. He owns Argo Real Estate and has been doing realty for 12 years. He's built 2 locations. He's received numerous awards, including the Truly a 1% award for 2014 and 15. He's also received the 40 Under 40 award in 2016 and 17, which is amazing. He's been recognized by the mayor with the BRIA award in 2016. He's the #1 agent in Pinal County for 8 consecutive quarters. He sold $47 million in real estate last year, and he is already on track to do over $100 million this year. Everybody say hello to Damian Godoy.
Hi guys, thanks for having me here. I'm excited today to be with you guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's really exciting to have you on here because I really want to help my listeners. Now, don't jump off the podcast just because you're not in the real estate industry. Damian, again, remember, has his bachelor's in business and an MBA. He is a wealth of knowledge. He's going to drop golden nugget bombs all over us today in business general, and we are going to be able to help not only real estate agents grow their businesses, but every business owner will absolutely benefit from today's podcast. So I'm really excited.
Hey, Trevor, you know what? I'm glad you said that because it is especially when you're starting a business, it is a little discouraging to see success. I mean, you know, we're grinding every day. We're trying to get a company going, and then we see statistics and we see results and we see all these numbers that you just mention, and then we get discouraged. We're like, we're not there yet. Why would I listen to Damian? I don't know who he is, but those numbers look amazing, but could be discouraging. But yeah, I think we're going to share a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And about 5 years ago, I was, closing 12 homes a year, know. So that didn't happen overnight. I don't want people to get discouraged and thinking, hey, I'm never going to be there. Why would I listen to that? I'm, a decade away from those numbers. No, really. Yeah. Like, we're going to share some tips today that I think are going to help your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing is I preach it all the time is you have to slow down. You have to realize that it's not going away tomorrow. Yeah. If you are just getting started, you've got to go through the grind and the grit like all of us did.
Absolutely.
You didn't build a $100 million business overnight.
No. It takes a lot of hard work, but the good thing about being a business owner, being the main guy, is that you see the results, and that doesn't happen when you have a job. When you work for a company, that you work really hard, and you can get promotions and you can get bonuses and whatever. But when you are the business owner, you can see the results right away. Yeah. That's rewarding to me. But again, it didn't happen overnight. It takes a while to get something going, right? Yeah. It takes 3 years to push and to be grinding every day, 12-hour days, 14-hour days to get started. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's a good point that people might go, oh my gosh, 12 or 14 hours. I don't know if I, quit my day job to start a business to have to work more, but that's the truth. There's an old saying that I work 100 hours a week, so I don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else. Yeah. It's so true. You get freedoms and you get all these wonderful things as a business owner, but it takes time.
Absolutely.
And we have to step back and realize comparing ourselves to other people's businesses. So for all of our realtors and business owners that aren't doing $100 million a year and they aren't 12 years in the business, remember that. You haven't been doing this for 12 years. No. You had to build it.
And look at those numbers and look at those people and those businesses and think, what can I learn from them, right? If they're already doing it, don't look at those numbers and get discouraged. Look at those numbers and see there is something there for me to learn. There is something there for me to implement. And I think, I'm very honest with that. I copied a lot of amazing agents out there. I'm not the best, in what I do. I think I'm good, but no, I'm not amazing. So I probably copied and tried to put it in practice it in my own business. But it just try to get things from different people that are already doing it. Look at them and see what is it that I can implement in my own business and my daily activities to try to make it happen.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I love about Damian, guys. You have to understand, I mean, his office is filled with awards, and yet he is one of the humblest guys that I know. And it's amazing.
It's not me. It's my team.
Absolutely. Let's bring Troy in on this conversation. Everybody say, hi, Troy.
Hey everyone, all right. So we're going to have a really good conversation today. Like Trevor said, it's not just going to be about real estate. We're going to be talking about business and what Damian did to be successful. So we're going to be talking about, how he started out, what mistakes did he make. I'm just looking through the list here. We're going to be talking about branding and how to brand your business. We're going to be talking about, how to grow from like one location to multiple locations, and that's across any industry, right? And then we're going to talk about something that's really, really important, which is, how do you prepare for the future as a business owner? How do you make sure that you have a great retirement as well? So we've got tons of great stuff. So let's get started. First off, Damian, what was it like to start your business, and did you make any mistakes in the beginning?
No, I didn't. I was perfect from day one. I knew exactly what I wanted, what I was going to do, and knew everything about my business, everything about real estate.
Awesome.
I'm just kidding, Troy. I made a ton of mistakes. Like I was saying a minute ago, and that could be the discouraging part for a business owner or someone that is just starting. And I have to be honest I think with any industry, it will take about 2 to 3 years to get the ball rolling.
Yes.
A lot of grinding, a lot of long days. And that was my beginning too. I mean, I started as a real estate agent in 2007. I had a full-time job. I had my beautiful wife was pregnant, and I was starting a family. So a lot of pressure on my shoulders, but and I think a lot of people can relate to that, right? So it takes a while. Don't think that everything comes overnight, and don't think that you'll see the results overnight and you start seeing the money in your bank account right away. It takes time, and it's what you do on a daily basis. What are you gonna do for marketing? What are you gonna do to make your phone ring and all that? So. If I can share it with the audience, when I started my real estate business, I had a full-time job. I was working on a decent company with decent benefits. So leaving that, I had to make a commitment that I was going to succeed no matter what, because I had a baby on the way and all that. But my suggestion for the audience and for any future business owner is to start with your business. You have to treat it as a job, right? So. Don't think that you can answer the phone if you want. Don't think that you can work. You can be in your office if you want. Especially for the first few years, you want to treat it as a job. You want to pretend that you clocking in at 7:30 and pretending that you clocking out at 5:30, right? And be committed to. Block this time and be committed to your mission, to your vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's funny is Troy actually taught this to me. He said, hey, listen, when how I was always raised and taught was that as an employee, I should beat the boss in and I should leave after the boss leaves. Yeah. And if you take that same mentality and you do it in your own business, you got to beat yourself into work and you got to leave after yourself leaves. It's just a fun analogy of like, it's not easier than being an employee. It's harder.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have all the weight of the world on your shoulders. Yeah. And so, it's funny, Damian was sharing with us a little mistake that he made when he first started his business, and it was about the houses and them all being in a row. Will you tell the audience about that? Because I think they'll love that, Damian.
Well, some of the mistakes, a lot of mistakes along the ways, but I started real estate when there was a lot of short sales and foreclosures. And there were homes for sale in every street in America, and there were several. Like you drove through any regular street, and you will see several for sale signs, right? So I was driving my clients around, and a good indication of what house you're gonna show is if you see a sign on the front door. Like if you see a sign on the front yard, you know that it's a house for sale. Usually you park and show the house. Well. a silly mistake, but kind of funny. I'm driving my clients around, see the sign so on the street that I was looking for. So I got down and opened the door and all that. I showed the house to my client, and when I'm getting out, I'm looking at the front yard and then look at the neighbor's yard, and I see that there is the same house and also has a for sale sign. So I looked at the house and then look at the number, look at my paper, and I realized that I just showed my client the wrong house.
The wrong
same
house.
Floor plan, same number of bedrooms, same number of bathrooms, empty to a lot of foreclosures back then, but silly mistakes, I think.
So the real question is, which house did they buy?
they moved on. I think I got them confused, but we ended up purchasing in a different neighborhood,
Oh, that's really funny. I mean, it's funny too, because when you tell that story, I relate so much to it, because it's so important to work with a professional in whatever industry you're in and whatever you're trying to do, especially real estate. Because one time my wife and I, of course, we were thinking we were going to move somewhere, and we wanted to move, and we were looking at Ammon, Idaho, and we're looking online, and we see this house, and it's gorgeous and it's empty, and we're like, you know what, we have family up there, let's fly up there, let's check it out. And so we do. We jump on a plane, we see family for a little bit, and then we go and we check out this house. So we park and we pull in the driveway, we're walking around the backyard, we're checking out the neighborhood, we're waving at the neighbors, we're like, hi neighbor, we're gonna be your neighbors, and all this. And I walk up to the door and I look in the window like this, and all of a sudden this little dog jumps up. And I'm like, holy crap, why is there a dog inside? And then I look around and there's furniture in the house. There's people living in this house. Just because there was no furniture online, we assumed that it was an empty house, but it was not an empty house. I'm like, get in the car, we gotta go. And I'm sure the neighbors are like, 911, someone's trying to break into my neighbor's house. So I can totally relate about the wrong house, or, working with definitely a professional, especially in real estate, because I'm sure that...
Moral of the story is use a realtor, Trevor. Come on.
I should never just think that the problem is I watch YouTube and then I think, I can do anything. I can be a realtor.
Yeah.
I can look at houses online.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Exactly. So now, one thing is for especially a lot of realtors and business owners, because I remember we ran our company for years out of a house. And and then there was another time where we were in a garage, and then Troy and I were in this, and Ron, we were in this tiny little office suite that we had rented from our buddy, and it was like tiny, and the AC didn't work half the time. And so anyways, it's hard for a lot of people to make that decision to move from being maybe at home or, into a small space, into a larger space, and into like a retail office space. So was that a hard decision for you to move? And really, what kind of made that happen?
Yeah.
Why?
Can I answer? I'll answer the question and also tell you a funny story about it. But if you when you get started with a company, with any kind of company, you want to keep your expenses or your expenses to as close as possible to zero, right? You don't want to overspend. You don't want to. Especially with commercial leases, you can get into a long-term commitment, like 7 years. You don't want that when you started a business, right? So you wanna keep your expenses, your fixed expenses, close to as zero as possible. So, as a real estate agent, as a plumber, as a whatever profession you are, you wanna have a designated place, and ideally, I think everyone can start at home. Like you don't need to rent a place. You don't need to rent an office. I will say dedicate a space where you can have privacy, where you can maybe meet with clients or whatever. If you have maybe a separate door or a service door that you can meet with clients, that will be ideal if you have it at your house. So don't overexpend. Plus you can write that off. Like if you have office space in your house, you can write it off. And then from there, I would suggest to move to just leasing an office. You don't need to lease an apartment or lease a commercial building. You can sublease just a 11 by 11 office out of another company, and sometimes they even come with a conference room or internet connection and all that, so you keep your expenses to a minimum, right?
Absolutely.
So here I am as a solo agent doing about 3 transactions a month, which is okay, and I'm getting the ball rolling, working really hard, doing a lot of marketing. So 3 transactions a month consistently is pretty good. So I decided to grow and hire an assistant or invite another agent to be my assistant and start forming a team. Well, I'm working out of my house. I have a designated area in my house. So I invited this guy to come over and be part of my team. So things are going very well. But we needed to work together. There's a lot of communication that needs to happen in transactions and issues and stuff like that. So we need to work really good together. Well, I had this amazing plan in my head that I was going to bring this guy into my house because the office, the den that I was using, had a walk-in closet.
Oh, amazing!
So I can open up this space and I can put a desk there, and he can work out of my walk-in closet. So that was my amazing business plan.
How did that go? Did that end up happening?
And then I came up with this sophisticated plan and presented to the boss of the house, which is my wife, right? And as I'm telling my dream, my story, how I'm going to grow this company, and I tell her my plan with the den of the walk-in closet, her face started changing. Her face just started changing. So anyways, needless to say that she didn't approve my plan.
So it was pretty easy for you to make that choice. The wife made it for you of, no. You're not taking over my house. We're building a team here. Go get yourself some commercial space.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But anyways, my point is you do need a physical office, a physical space. As you grow, you're gonna need to meet with clients, with customers, stuff like that. So you need to keep thinking about that. And the way we did it, the way that I decided to do it is, I need a physical space, but also if I'm gonna grow a big company, I need exposure. Because we're dealing with big brokerage, big brands that are throughout the United States, and here we are, a very small brokerage. So I need recognition, I need exposure. So I decided, as a business move, I decided to open my office in a retail store next to, like a retail space next to a busy supermarket.
Yeah.
So I went to the busiest place in town, and I looked for a space there. Lucky enough, I found it next to the supermarket, next to a UPS store, next to a busy restaurant. So my office is there. One of my locations is there. So I combine physical space with exposure. It was a big commitment, but I was committed to make it happen. There was no option for me. Like, I'm going to grow this baby.
Yes.
I'm going to make it work. So I decided to sign that lease and negotiate a little bit out of that. But that's how I started.
Yeah, no, and that's so smart, because it was funny when we were talking earlier, and I loved what you called them. You called them secret agents. It's like all these agents out there, they hide. They get like this little suite somewhere up in a big office building, and they have zero exposure, and it's like they're being secret agents. It's like, no, in the real estate industry, you need to have exposure. You need to have people see you, and so that's a really smart thing. Especially think about that next to a busy restaurant and a busy grocery store.
Yeah,
tons of foot traffic. Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I understand the commitment, and prices are more expensive if you go with a retail store. But there are no brokerage don't do that. Usually they rent a place, somewhere, like a conventional building and all that. I went all out. I needed to let people know that I'm committed. I needed to let the people know in town that I'm where I am, and where they can find me and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny too, because as business goes, how many times do we walk in the door, Troy, and it's like these companies, I feel like they're like half in. They're not all in. They're like, they're not running their business like they're going to grow to this big, huge thing, but they want to grow to this big, huge thing, but they're not treating their company like that. They're just making these tiny little movements, and they're like scared to do anything. And it's like, wait a minute, do you believe in what you're doing? Because if you believe in it, then man, you just want to go all in.
Absolutely.
Right?
And one quick tip about getting started that helped me in the past is, the first thing you want to do as a business owner, a CPA, whatever your business is, you want to conquer your backyard first. Meaning, if you are in Tempe, Phoenix, Chandler, whatever, and you're in a specific location, become the expert of that area, right?
Yes.
Like, don't go, I'm going to conquer the whole Phoenix Valley, and I'm gonna do, you know, all the way from, you know, Cave Creek to Santan Valley. You know, wherever you are, you want to become the expert, and you wanna conquer your backyard first. Meaning you want to create the exposure, you want to create the marketing, you want to do it there, and that along people that already know you, like your family members, your friends. To me, that's the low hanging fruit, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do as a business owner, the way that I started my business, I'm gonna become the realtor, and again, I'm a realtor, but it could be any kind of profession, trade that you're in. You become the expert for all the people that already know you. Like if you go through your phone, you have 300 people, you want to become the CPA, the accountant, the painter, the plumber, whatever it is, for those 300 people. You want to conquer that. You want to conquer your area. You want to. That's a low hanging fruit when you started a business. You know?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Troy, I mean, was on one of our other podcasts where we were talking about niching. Becoming the expert, not trying to be everything to everybody, but to like focus in and niche. And that's how people like outside of the real estate industry, real estate would be, you know, certain areas they want to conquer and everything like that. But for the rest of like the business world, like niching is a great thing. We talked about that in another podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to pick, like you said, you want to pick where your area, whether, you know, it's a physical area, whether it's like a digital area, and you want to just become the expert there and be, you know, so everybody knows they can't not see you. And that's one of the things that I've loved about, you know, I mean, that's basically branding, right? Yep. You know, you want to have your branding so good in your area that people can't go anywhere without seeing you. And that's one thing, Damian, that you've done really, really well is I live in, you know, one of the areas that you service, and I can't turn a corner, you know, in my neighborhood or, you know, anywhere around me without seeing your face on a sign.
Sorry
in the
about
neighborhood.
that.
No, that's great.
Sorry,
you know,
you get to see my face every day.
I love it, you know, and it's because it's awesome. Like, you know, I mean, again, like when it comes to real estate, and it's the same thing with plumbers and, you know, chiropractors and everybody, you have a ton of competition out there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so you've got to set yourself apart. You know, I probably have 10 realtors that live within 1 mile of me, but the only one I know their name is you, because your face and your name is on every sign that I see out there. You know, so that marketing, that, I don't know if you want to call it guerrilla marketing, that branding that you're doing is absolutely amazing. So why did you do that?
So, a couple of things. So, a couple of suggestions and a couple of things that I did. You want to start with the end in mind, right? Where is it that you're going to see yourself, or you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years? Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want to become the number one at whatever you do? You know. And don't think of your business like a one-man show. Think of your business as a team, and how it all depends on how you wanna grow it, right? But in what I do, you know, it's all about how many times you're in front of their face. That's how they're gonna remember you. Like if I ask you, Troy, like how many insurance agents do you know? You know, how many...
like his, probably.
Yeah. I can name like 1 or 2.
If
maybe.
I ask you, how many accountants do you know, right?
1 or 2.
So if you ask the average person, they usually know 1 of each profession, and they maybe 2, but no more than that, right? So you have to remember, that's how the human mind works, right? So you have to stay in front of them constantly. The way that I created my branding is my face is everywhere. And it's not because I'm good looking, even though, Trevor, you say that I'm good looking.
I think you're good looking.
It's because I want people to remember who I am and remember the face. And everyone, if you talk to people in my area, everyone says, "Oh, the face." I have my vehicles wrapped with my face. I have my vehicles wrapped with my signs. My signs have my face. The front of the store matches the vehicles. It matches my sign.
You have a giant picture of your face on front of your store, right?
Yeah, and people make fun of that. If you talk to other local agents, you know, they make fun of me.
Yeah,
the guy that puts his face everywhere.
Keep laughing while they do, you know, 10 million a year.
I was gonna say all those agents that I don't know their name.
So you talk to other brokerage, and they make fun of my marketing, and I'm totally okay with that. But it works. My signs have it is the branding, signs, vehicles, store, advertising online. email campaigns, reminders. Everything is branded the same way, and that's what I'm saying is start with the end in mind, because you don't wanna get the ball rolling and saying my business now is working. Well, let's do all new branding now that it's working. Now that we are 3 years in the business and I finally have a lot of clients, let's rebrand. Let's make this more cool and let's make it look more shiny. Well, you just lost 2 or 3 years of your marketing, of your branding.
Yes.
Right.
And we see people do that all the time, right?
Yeah, and the other thing I love about it too is like you have a whole team behind you, right, Damian?
Yeah.
But you're the branding, It's
Right.
not getting confused with this employee, this employee, this employee. It's all you, so that no matter where people look, because it doesn't matter whether they, as long as they remember you, they're going to get access to your team and your team's going to be able to help them.
Correct.
But they can't remember, like you said, they can't remember 10 people.
Yeah.
So you just focus on the one and you just make that branding consistent. That's perfect for any business out there. Again, whether you're a chiropractor, whether you're, pest control, it's that branding. Like I can think of one pest control company right now, and it's because the branding on their trucks, I see them all the time. Every time I see a pest control truck, it's like, oh, it's those guys again.
Yeah.
Because they do something different with their branding than everybody else. So it really does make a difference.
Yeah, in real estate, if you look at the different listings and the different signs on the streets and all that, you will see the same companies like Remax or Keller Williams, and you see John Doe, and he has one sign, and then for the same company you see whatever Kelly Smith and all that, but the signs are all different.
Yes.
Even though they work for the same brokerage, the signs are all different, or sometimes even they're in the same team and the signs are different. Well, guess what? Now each one is trying to put their advertising out there, putting 1 or 2 listings out there, 1 or 2 signs in the whole city out there, trying to create branding as a team. I do have a team, and we're very consistent on branding, and we have about 27 to 30 listings at any given time, and all of them have exactly the same sign, exactly the same. When you see them, it looks exactly the same. They have a writing on the top. They have the main sign with my face in the middle, and below that they usually say neighborhood specialist or sold, right? And that's when you drive around my areas, that's all you see in corners and stuff. And we have, like I said, we do have a lot of listings, but I think people's mind, I think they're thinking that we have a lot more than what we really have, and I think what they're doing is looking at the same sign over and over again.
Yes,
Every corner they turn.
Yeah, and the funny thing
is
I asked my wife this too, because literally our neighbors have their house for sale. The neighbor next to them has their house for sale, and like 4 houses down is another house for sale. All 3 of those are by different realtors and different companies. I asked my wife, I said, hey, and so and this has been like a couple of months. These signs have been right outside of our house. We drive by them every day, and I asked my wife, I said, hey, if you were to name one realtor in this area, who would you name? And she goes, probably that Damian Godoy guy. And I go, really? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, why? She goes, because I see his signs. And I'm like, wait a minute. You pass these 3 signs every day, 5 or 6 times leaving our neighborhood, and you don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
But Damian came right to your mind. So great job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What's next, Troy?
All right, so let's talk about how do you track your business numbers, and how important are the numbers for you and your business?
So that's a great question, Troy. I see that a lot. As a business owner, you have pretty much 2 options. You're gonna grab marketing, and you're gonna grab marketing money, and you're just gonna throw it at the wall and see what it sticks, right? Or you're gonna see where the leads came from, where the clients came from, or where the customers came from, and you're gonna track conversion, and you're gonna see what marketing money or what marketing dollar brought that client or that customer, right? So you have 2 options, and I see that a lot in any industry. They just throw a lot of money out there. Any shiny objects, anything that it gets promoted online, or that gets advertised on TV, or get advertised on the radio, they're thinking that that's the next big thing, the next big investment money.
Yes.
And they just purchase that, and they just throw the money away, right? They wasted the money. Or you can look and what I like to do is reverse engineering, meaning okay, how many clients did we have last year? How many closings we had as a team? We had 173 closings. Where did they come from? So 20% of this, 33% of this, and 15% of that. So I can reverse engineer and tell you how many leads we had to get to close, 173 deals last year, and I can tell you for the next year where I'm going to invest my money, right?
Yes.
So I want to see.
Because you know it works.
Exactly. I want to see a return on investment on every dollar that I put out there, and I'm a 10x guy. I want to see every dollar gets me $10 back.
That's right.
So and that's reverse engineering your expenses, your leads, your numbers. So as a business owner, and that is to me, it's not sexy. Let me tell you what. To me, I tracking all those numbers is not sexy. I don't love it. But again, you have two options. Are you gonna just make business decisions, or are you just gonna make whatever is in front of you, just grab it and test it and leave it, and then test another thing or test another. So I think as business owners, we waste a lot of funds.
And it's funny to me because people will come to me all the time and they'll say, okay, so I've tried this marketing and it doesn't work, and I've tried this marketing and it doesn't work, and this and it's like, no, listen, marketing works. Marketing is marketing, and it works. It's just that you probably just jumped with the first person who came to you and said, hey, you should be doing this marketing, and they may not be the experts in it. They may not be that good at it. But the other thing is a lot of times I'm like, okay, great, show me the numbers. Show me where you tracked this and how it didn't work. And they're like, oh, what numbers? And I'm like, how can you say it didn't work? You didn't track anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Especially, with the industry that I'm in, and I don't know all the other industries, but my phone rings on a daily basis, probably 2 or 3 times, offering me the next big thing. and emails, the same thing, and text messages, the same thing. And agents are experts at signing in and everything that they get exposed to, right? And these are expensive lead generation platforms and all that. So you want to be careful.
You can spend a fortune. You can spend a fortune, and I have seen these companies actually spend a fortune, and yet they didn't track one thing. And every day, like you said, there's something new coming out. And what's funny is I always say it's like a pie. You have to have all the ingredients, because people will say, well, what marketing should I be doing? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? And the answer is it's a pie. And you have to have all the ingredients to make the pie taste good. It's just knowing how much time, energy, efforts, and funds am I going to allocate to each ingredient in that pie, because you really should be doing it everywhere. I mean, I see your stuff on social media. I see your stuff on Google. I see your face all over the city, literally everywhere I go. I see your vehicles everywhere I go. You are in my face. So it's like I love the little tip where you're always putting the sold signs. I'm like, dang, man, this dude just closes. And it's really exciting and it's really good, but it is everywhere. You are everywhere, and you are everything to everyone almost. I mean, it's like you are the realtor to work with.
Yeah. And the sold sign, it shows people results. It shows that we get the job done. I tried with other realtors before, and it didn't work. Realtors, you can find people that are really committed, doing it full time, and all that. You can find people that it's part time, which is not bad as long as you take it serious, right? And we show through our signs what people see, and we show that we get the job done. So that's why we put it on the contract, and it changes from neighborhood specialist to sold.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing is, like, I've sold several homes over the years, and I should say I've had realtors sell several homes over the years. And it's funny because I've had a couple of experiences where I was hounding the realtor to put a sign in my yard. I was like, hey, can you put a sign up? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. And then like a week later, hey, can you get that sign put up that I asked you for? Oh yeah, we're gonna get that up. I don't know what's going on. He's like blaming it on other people. I keep calling and they keep saying they're gonna. Listen, like, it's so funny. There's things that people think are the basics and that they're silly, but it works. There's a reason that you do these things in a certain order, and it really does give results.
You do want to create, as a business owner, you do want to create systems, right? You probably the only person that you have in your team right now. You're the one person show. You're working by yourself. But then you get into growing the business. You have to understand leverage. You have to understand if you hire someone, what that person is going to do, and you want to make sure that they do it as good or better than you. So you want to create systems. You want to create, and systems are specific steps that someone is going to follow, right? If you go to a hamburger place like McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's, whatever, they have people earning $10 an hour, $12 an hour, moving this million hamburger a week, right? So but the reason why is because they follow specific steps, and you as a business owner, you want to do that. You want to create job descriptions, you want to create a specific step, and you want to be able to leverage your time, leverage your resources, and that's the way to grow.
Absolutely. And what's funny is I had one realtor that I dealt with that they weren't that busy. They only had a few homes, and we got to talking because, of course, I always end up talking to everybody about business. And so we were talking about business and everything, and I'm kind of giving him, I go right into coaching and consulting, and I'm like, I need to stop doing that. But it's funny, we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, hey, so what's one of the struggles you have? Oh, it's, I'm working with this sign guy and the post guy, because a lot of people don't realize you just pay a post company a lot of times to come and put the post in, and then you go hang your sign or someone, or if they have your sign, and if you do enough homes. This guy, he couldn't really afford a post company, or he couldn't afford them, and he was still using them, and they weren't doing a good job for him. And so the funny thing was, I was like, wait a minute. So if you're only doing X amount of homes and you have all this time to twiddle your thumbs, why don't you just go dig the darn hole yourself and put the post in the ground? And I was like, it would save you money, and it would get it done, and you wouldn't keep fighting with this guy and upsetting your clients. And he was like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I could do that. But just because everybody else did it a certain way, he didn't think outside the box. And so immediately he started doing that. And like now his customers aren't begging him like, hey, why don't I have a sign in my yard? Why don't, because I'm having a problem with my post company, and he was saving money, and he was getting it done more efficiently. So when you don't have the resources or the money, if you have time, then you are the resources and the money. And I feel like a lot of business owners need to understand that.
One thing though, along those lines, Trevor, you do want to create, like this situation with the post that you're telling me about, you do want to create very specific steps for that post guy to follow. And we're talking about real estate, so we're talking about a sign, but it could work with any kind of business owners. You want to follow the necessary steps to do the things like Damian won, or better than Damian, right? So be very, very specific with your employees, with your team member, how you want things done, and set up the proper expectations. If you have a contractor that's going to do it for you, like this post guy, you want to know what direction you expect the post. You want to know how far away from the sidewalk. You want to know from the corners. If the house is close to the corner, just create systems.
And then you have these expectations. You have systems and processes in place. It's like our salespeople. When we bring a new sales guy on, we have a system that we now have spent a lot of money on that works really well, and it's this well-oiled machine. But like every sales guy is going to follow the exact same system every single time because we know it works. Same thing with our customer support. Customer support people, same thing. A big problem that most businesses have is with someone who answers the phone. It's like they can't get consistency in their answering of the phone, and it's a nightmare. People hate calling into businesses because they're like, like they're not going to know who I am, or it's a big problem. But if you put these systems and processes in place, every person you bring on to answer that phone or do a sales job or put a post in the ground, whatever it is, they will do it exactly the same every single time.
One thing that we lack as business owners is time. It is normal to be running around all over the place when you're getting a business going, and we lack a lot of time. We lack we lack on saving the time or blocking the time to train these new team members, right? So they do a crappy job, but it's because we didn't set up the proper expectations, right?
And we get mad at them.
It's like look how he's answering the phone, like that's not how I want you to do it. She's not taking notes, stuff like that. But did you dedicate the time to that for that person to do an efficient work? Efficiency comes after good training. And the rule that I follow in my life is, when I'm training someone, is I do it we do it, and then they do it,
Yes.
right? So I make sure I do it with them,
Yeah.
and then we do it together,
Yep.
and then I see when they do it, right? So those are 3 steps coaching, because I want to make sure that they copy my way of doing things, and then I observe if they're doing it the right way with them. They know that I'm behind them when they're answering the phone, right?
Yeah.
And they've seen me doing it. We did it together, and now they're doing it by themselves, and then they get, we get going.
Yeah, absolutely. And one tip and trick I want to give to everybody, and then we're going to keep this moving forward because we've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of great things to go over, and I don't want people to lose interest. So don't lose interest. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. This is all exciting, good stuff. One tip and trick real quick is with our salespeople and our support people and anybody who is on the phone with any of our clients or potential clients, those calls are being recorded for training purposes. You hear that. These calls maybe be recorded for training purposes. And it really is. We have our people go back and we have them listen to those calls on every single one. And once we did that, our sales went through the roof, our support went through the roof, everything went through the roof because they were able to actually hear themselves and go, oh man, why did I say it that way? So a lot of people have problems, especially like in the dental industry with their front desk gals or guys answering the phones and stuff. Those, by recording that call and having them listen back to it, they will start to train and perfect themselves. Absolutely. So that's just one little trick for everybody out there that's not in the real estate industry. Yeah. Necessity.
Can I throw one more thing? I know you wanted to move on, but one more thing that you want to do is, what are your expectations for that specific position? What are your expectations for that specific individual and your team and your life? And then make it clear expectations. But then you wanna inspect what you expect, right? You wanna inspect what you expect. So if you're my employee, and I want you to perform this job specifically, I'm gonna inspect weekly or daily. I'm gonna inspect if the job is getting done the way I want it.
Absolutely.
Right. And I set up the expectation from the beginning. Hey, every other day I'm gonna look at this and then I'm gonna review with you. Is that okay? So I'm inspecting what I expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to micromanage, and people might feel micromanaged, but if you set it up the right way and let them know this is what we're doing, they're totally fine with it. They feel very comfortable. Absolutely. So now you started your one location. Yeah. And then you've now grown to 2 locations. Yeah. Was it hard for you to make that step or that leap to go to a second location? Because I know it's a big commitment, especially because of the way that you run your business and how you like to go after a commercial real estate with exposure, street exposure, foot exposure. So was it hard for you to make that choice?
Those are the expensive locations, right? The ones that have good exposure and specific locations. So it's a huge commitment. Again, we signed a 7-year lease on a new location. A great location, by the way, but I was very specific in what I wanted, and I drove around and looked at different places until I found exactly what I wanted. Huge commitment. So it is tough. At the same time, as a business owner, you have to be, and I'm the one that is not going to stay around and be complacent and think, oh, life is good, we're in one location. I drive my wife crazy because I'm always thinking, what's the next challenge, for me? Yes. And so that's one of the reasons that we moved. And no, we didn't move. I'm sorry. One of the reasons that we expanded to a second location is because our first location is doing really good. Yeah. And we created good systems. And we can duplicate those systems in another location and make it work as nice as the first one. So that's one of the reasons. The second thing is the first location, if you look at the Phoenix Valley, is kind of on the corner of the map, right? So if we want to grow, if we want to expand, we can only go one direction. If we see the other direction, we're going to start selling farms because there's nothing else land, right? Exactly. Or get into cows or horses or something like that. So we have to, if we want to sell houses, we need to go one direction. So that's why we grew, because I needed to grow my team. I needed to be more attractive to agents. I needed to be in a better price range. Yeah. So by moving, again, I keep saying moving, by expanding northwest on our location, we got in a more center place and a more central location, and that allows us to have be more attracted to agents mainly, because I'm in the real estate market and I'm growing a real estate team, and I have plans to keep growing. So that new location attracts more agents. Also, the price of homes and property is higher that way. So, and also probably the third thing is I wanted to create the same exposure that I did with the first office when I created in this new city, and that's why we selected to follow the same systems and the same marketing that we did with the first one. That's why a minute ago I was so persistent on create systems, because you don't know. I mean, hopefully you do know what's next, but you want people to have the instruction manual on what they need to do on your company.
And I feel like one of your superpowers is location.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the first location was great with tons of exposure and everything, but it's like the second location, oh my gosh, anybody getting off the freeway, it's like, man, boom, there's Argo. And it's right by a really high-end restaurant that is like lots of foot traffic, lots of people all day long. And that's ultimately what you need. You need exposure with all these people. And so you're getting people all day long seeing Argo.
And we're sorry, Trevor, we're competing with national companies, right? Even international companies. So when you have them in front of you, and then what's Argo? Like, no one knows Argo, right? It's a small brokerage. So by expanding to this second location and maybe a third location in the future, now people start thinking, well, they're pretty serious. These are good locations. They have good marketing. They have these guys get the job done. So we're competing. We're in a very competitive market, like anybody is in any industry, right? There is 70,000 agents right now in Arizona, and there's a lot of brokerage and very recognized companies. So what is it that you're gonna do to stand out? Stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. All right. And now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So obviously you built a successful business. But as a business owner, one of the biggest problems we have as business owners and entrepreneurs is there is no pension, there is no 401k, there is no, government that's going to give us money, when we retire. So we've got to come up and build our own retirement so that we can eventually get out of the business. And unfortunately, a lot of business owners think like, well, my retirement is I will sell the business at some point, right? But that you don't necessarily want that to be your retirement. So I know you have done some really smart things to help build and secure your future. So what's one thing that a business owner, that's making good money, they're making good money, how can they maximize their profits and secure their future?
Great question. I love that question, because it's something that as a business owner, a lot of times we don't think about what's the future, and if you're thinking on selling the business, I mean, make sure that you have a lot of clean books and a lot of show a lot of revenue, and show this and show that, and be questioned for everything. It's a pain to sell a business. And I'm a realtor, Troy, so I'm going to advise you to buy houses as the best retirement plan, right? But no, like all kidding aside, my strategy, and I'm not saying it's the only strategy, right? But my strategy, maybe because it's what I understand, my strategy is buy assets, right? And when I say assets, mainly I'm talking about real estate. And that's one of the vehicles that created the most wealthy people in America. So yeah, I'm going to advise you to buy properties. The way I did it is, I started with the end in mind. What is it that I want for my future, for my family? Am I going to be able to sell homes when I'm 80 or 90, right? I'm going to be able to show homes. And the answer is no. So what is it that you're doing today for your retirement? Well, you have a job, you have a 401k, money's getting out of your paycheck every month to create your retirement account. When you're a business owner, you don't have that. So you don't have to create something that will benefit you in the future and benefit your family. So my vehicle, my strategy is I'm going to buy a rental property, or I've been doing it for several years now. I'm going to buy a rental property a year. A multi-unit, a single-family residence. I'm just going to buy one property a year. So that's going to be my retirement plan. Now, I don't want to get too deep into taxes because I'm not a CPA, okay? But as a business owner, as you grow a business, you start making this ball rolling, this ball going. You're gonna see your revenue, you're gonna see your profits going up. Okay, when you do that, when you pass $80,000, and then you pass $160,000 a year, and then $320,000 a year, you have a new friend. Okay,
and a new partner,
and a new partner,
a new partner,
business partner. Uncle Sam will come knocking at your door and saying, you need to give me 22%. You need to give me 27%. You need to give me 32%, right?
Yep.
So that's a lot of money when you jumping into these brackets, right? So my advice for the way I train my realtors in my company is, what is it that you're gonna do to offset that income? And what do you do as a business owner to offset that income? So you ask yourself, I'm just gonna write a check every year to Uncle Sam, or am I going to be smart enough to try to retain as much of my capital as possible and hopefully have it used for different aspects of the business? So my strategy is, on paper, my rentals that I own, on papers, a rental property shows us is a loss. Okay, on paper.
Yeah. Yes.
When you add expenses, when you add travel time, when you add depreciation and so on paper, your CPA is going to show that there is a loss every year. But in reality, you're going to have cash flow every month. Not only cash flow, but also you're going to be paying down your mortgage, or someone else is going to be paying down the mortgage, and your equity is growing. Historically, the value of property go up. Value of properties are going to go up 4% annually, right? And for the last 6 years, we've seen about 7% annually, right? So here you are building a very healthy retirement plan, and someone else is paying it, right?
Yeah.
But also it shows in your tax papers as a loss that will offset all your income from your whatever, a CPA office, insurance agent income, or whatever income you have. Your rental properties offset your income. I don't know if that's the answer that you wanted, Troy, but that's kind of how I've been doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great answer. So just to recap that really quickly for people, the great thing about rental properties is, like Damian said, that a lot of times on paper, it's going to look like you are losing money on the property, but in actuality, you're cash flowing money. You're getting, the equity is going up. Mm-hmm. Someone else is paying the mortgage for you. So there's a lot of benefits, and it's something that you can, either live off of that money, as you get closer to retirement, or you can sell the asset if you ever need to do that. But it's something that business owners should be looking at. It's not the only avenue to secure your future, but it is a really good one that has a lot of tax benefits now, versus later. So I'm really glad you shared that with us. I'm a big fan of rental properties. I invest in rental properties as well. So because again, I know that at some point, I'm going to have to retire, and I'm not going to rely on Uncle Sam to be there to pay my bills. So I've got to build it myself on top of building my business. So thank you for sharing that. Right. All right. Let's see. What question do you have, Trevor?
What separates you from your competitors, Damian? I mean, you've done a really good job at building something that competes in an industry that is so saturated. And you've been very successful. And I feel like, you and I talked before the show about a few things that you've done that sets you aside from your competitors. What are a couple of those ideas for these guys out there?
Probably we talked already about marketing. I will add to that consistency on marketing. I think we touched about that. Be consistent. Be from the beginning. Do marketing. Thinking big, thinking that you're gonna grow that to another level. Don't change your marketing as your company get big. I think we discussed that already.
Yeah.
Don't be a secret agent. You don't hide. Like, everyone around you needs to know.
Yes.
Everyone needs to know that you are a real estate agent, that you're a professional, or whatever you do. Right. Everyone around you. My rule is you have to promote yourself and advertise yourself as like you will be running for mayor. Like if you look at my vehicles,
Yes.
my vehicles are wrapped with my face, promoting what is it that we do. I'm online. My signs. We do open houses. All the signs match the sign. So as you promote your business, you want to be running it like a political campaign.
Yeah.
Like you want to put you in front of everyone constantly. And it's a long-term investment too. So it's not something that is going to happen overnight, but be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And one thing that you were telling me about too was the people that you surround yourself with. I loved what you said. You said, I hire slow and I fire fast.
Yeah. One of my, you like to say secret sauce, but one of my secret sauce, if you want to call it that, is the culture of my company.
Yeah.
And people are, good people, good workers are attracted to a good culture and attracted to good people. So I'm very protective with my culture in my office. If I have to walk on eggshells on front of a team member, or someone feels uncomfortable, unfortunately that person has to go because what makes us successful, what makes my company successful is having the right culture, having the right people in the organization, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, I have to hire really slow. I'm going to make a slow move and to see who I bring into the Argo family, but I'm going to fire fast, meaning I'm not going to let that individual ruin my culture, my organization, right? So I'm gonna move fast when it comes to letting someone go, and keep it clean. Keep it very clean.
Yeah. If you allow someone to be like what they say is a cancer in the company, it will literally start to affect everybody, and it will drive away the people that you do want there. Yeah. You will lose good employees,
absolutely,
good team members because of that. I'm
glad you say that, because it will cost you. It's not only that individual, it also will cost you other team members. Yeah. And it's like a cancer. It will start spreading. Gossiping, rumor, people feeling not comfortable in your office anymore. So if you have a team member like that, maybe it's not a good fit. It's time
to let them go. And I know that a lot of companies struggle with that. I struggle with that. I don't like firing people. It's never nice a good feeling. Some people, Donald Trump, he definitely loves to fire people. You're fired. You're fired. He was really good at it. But for the most part, most of us, we have a hard time letting people go. But you have to think of the good of the company and everybody else there that wants to be there. Because sometimes I feel like we have these employees that they don't really want to be there. And we're letting them affect everybody else. Absolutely.
And along those lines, Trevor, you as a business owner, you don't wanna push people around. You wanna lead, and that's a big difference between you having to push an employee to do their job or pushing someone to do this and to do that. That's not what a leader does. A leader, that's what I was saying. Like you do it. We do it, and then they do it. So meaning you want people that follow your lead. And another part of my culture that I'm very black and white, and I look at morals and I look at ethics and all that, and people will follow you if you follow your promises, if you keep your word. People will follow you. It's not pushing employees anymore. I see them as business partners. I see it on where are we going to take this company next, and it's going to be with you.
Yep. Absolutely. No, that's really good. And that's something that people in all businesses across the world, they have to focus on the team. And we have done so many podcasts and so many videos talking about the team that you build around you, because there's a difference between an employee and a team member.
Absolutely.
Team members are going to be there. They're going to be working hard. They're going to be, have the same vision and goals as you do. An employee is just going to clock in at 9 a.m. and clock out at 5 p.m. and they really don't care. They really don't care what happens. They just want a paycheck.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you have positions that's how it needs to be. But definitely your core people, especially as you're growing, you want to try to find those people who have the same vision and then pay them better than anybody else will. Because once you know that they're a valuable team member, just reward them. Be quick. So it's slow to hire, quick to fire, and really quick, like lightning speed, to promote and reward.
Yeah. Don't tell that to my employees.
Okay. So
can I add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Please.
I keep coming up with this.
No, this is good.
So one thing that I wanted to add, a change in my company, that I implemented about 3 years ago, and that's when we made a huge difference on the growth, on the success that we had. As a business owner, it's very easy to put yourself in the middle of everything, right? And you create a bottleneck, right?
Yes.
If everything needs to run by you, now people are start waiting for you to make a decision, waiting for you to do this, waiting for you to pay for that and all that. So if everything depends on you, and you have to be in the office for the company to run, you don't have a business, you have a job.
Yeah.
Okay. So the difference between a business and a job is, does it run without you?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, you have to put systems in place to change that right away. Because a lot of people, having a business is sexy for me. I love businesses, right? I like having a business and all that. But a lot of people think that they have a business, and in reality, it's another job.
It's a job.
And we were talking before, but I just came back from a vacation. I'm originally from South America, from Argentina. I went to visit my family for 4 weeks. I was there with my whole family, with my kids and stuff. And very little or nothing is what I did when I was there for my company.
Yes.
And we had the same number of closings, the same number of lead generation, the same number of listings coming in. The business kept going. Okay.
Yeah.
I had conversations and phone calls with my management team, but it's a change that I decided to do. Am I running a business or am I running a job? Is it a job, So just wanted to bring that up because the sound of having a business is sexy, but at the same time, sometimes we do it the wrong way.
Yep.
And we are pretty much clocking in and clocking out and having a job.
Right. And that's the thing is, and I did a video and a podcast about it, and Troy's done a podcast about it as well, because we're trying to beat this into people's minds, right? I just had a situation happen to where, it's 6 months now and since my back exploded, and I ended up in back surgery, and I was on my back for 3 months. My leg was paralyzed. It was a horrific experience for me. And during that time, I didn't even have to think or worry about my company at all. In fact, I tease. I'm like, well, maybe I should get out of the way more often, because it's just excelling. It's doing so well. And
why is Troy agreeing with that?
Troy's like, get out of the way, dude. Troy's like, we spent a little bit less when Trevor was gone. I'm definitely a little bit more lavish with the money. But it really, we have. And it did not happen overnight. That did not happen overnight. We've been doing business for 20 years, but it was really by putting in, and it was years into it that we learned the systems and the processes and the right things to do in order to build what I like to call bulletproof business. Something that if you had to be down for 6 months, would it continue to run? Would it continue to grow even, and not just slowly die or die overnight? Or if you want to do something awesome, like normally I go to the beach for a month every year with my family, or we'll go to multiple beaches. We tour around. We usually take about a month every year, and we go on vacation. And Troy's able to go on vacation, and we've built an awesome company that has the right systems, processes. It's bulletproof, and it continues to not just live, but it continues to thrive during that time.
If I can add something, if I can add to that really quick, maybe to give some encouragement to someone in the audience that is, got a headache after all the things that we're saying, and also thinking, I'm gonna never do that. I can't even get an hour off, and then lose my business. It takes time. First thing that's like what you said, but also wanted to give out there a time frame of running a business and how things should work. It's going to take about 2 or 3 years until you get the business going, until you get the ball rolling, and it's not fun. It's a lot of work. It's 12-hour days, 14-hour days. It takes about 3 years to start to have a successful business. Okay, so 2 to 3 years. So don't be discouraged. It takes that, and then after that, it should take you. It will take another 4 years for you to create systems and to see really the results, right? And to have really a really successful, bulletproof business. So it doesn't happen overnight. The brokerage that I run, the real estate team that I run, I've been in business since 2007. So do the math on how long it took me to figure out the systems and figure that out, right? It could be discouraging for someone to hear this. I just want to create a proper expectation, but also I wanted to add that is you see a lot of rewards on having your own business. I'm not only talking about financial rewards, which is good, but also I'm talking a lot about lifestyle and different things.
And I hope that doesn't scare people, because I mean, every time Troy and I decide, hey, we're going to develop this new product, right? I mean, we have a couple businesses, and then we have products within those businesses, and every time we decide, okay, we're going to go and invest another $1 million into this new product, or $1.7 million into this product, or whatever that is, we also give it a time frame. And we know it's like starting over. And my wife, it's funny because we self-invest in everything. We have never had investors come in, and we've had them approach us a lot, and they've wanted to buy our products or invest in our products or get their hands on what we're doing, but we've always self-invested. And it's funny because my wife, she every time I'm like, oh my gosh, we have this new idea and we're going to launch this new product and it's going to be so awesome, and she just goes, ugh, because she knows it's like starting a new company. It's starting, and so we're doing that whole 3 to 4 year push, and then at 4 years, I feel like everything 3 to 4 years, it's like running a little bit better, a little bit smoother. We've worked out the kinks and we've improved it, and then from there it just gets better and better and better as we continue to implement more systems, more processes, doing all of this. And I hope it doesn't discourage people, because if 3 to 4 years discourages you, you probably aren't a business owner. You're looking at this and you're going, oh, that's not no, I'm looking at long term. Okay, so I'm thinking my business isn't going away tomorrow, and I need to put new things in place each day, little movements, little incremental movements to make it better and better and better and better. And that should be what you're looking to do. You're looking to build something, because everything that is good takes time. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So. I touched a little bit on leverage, right? I'm the one that I love to know everything that happens in my company, everything that happens in my business. I can be a pain in the neck. And which is okay, which is good.
Yes.
But if everything has to go through me, like I was saying a minute ago, now my company's not going to run the way that I want. So you want people to do the different jobs that you're supposed to be doing, right? So you want to break down the different obligations that you have, and the offer and the service that you offer, when the products that you offer. You wanna break down what is it that you do on a daily basis. Okay, Damian, I answer the phone. Damian, I fax these orders. I check online every day. I do marketing. So break that down. And then hire someone to start doing the tasks that you're not good at, right? So that's leverage, and that's how you're gonna grow, and that's something that I think we should all look at in our businesses, is not what service we offer, know what we're gonna do next, but who's gonna do it. Right. So there's a big difference on the what. We always think, what's our next move? What's our next product? What's our next service? And instead of that, I challenge the audience, if I may, think about the who. Who's gonna come in to offer and to come up with the next product, with the next service,
Yeah, and you actually said it. You called it but I'm going to coin it like it was mine. It's the who versus you. And it's so smart. It's exactly right. It's who are you going to get to do these things so that you don't have to keep doing these things? Because once you have done it, created it, implemented it, and perfected it, you now need someone else to take that over for you so that you can move on to the next thing. And that's the biggest struggle people have a lot of the times is moving on. They keep doing it themselves. And so it's I invented this, guys. It's the who versus you. I want that to be like coined Trevor Howard, but no, Damian's the man when he came out with that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this has been so fun. I have had such a good time. Troy, you had fun?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a ton of stuff, learned a ton of stuff, so great information.
It's like people need to go back and they need to listen to this multiple times because you need to write down little things that you get out of it, and each time then take it and implement it, because that's the one thing that I grew up in the event industry, the world of speaking and touring and everything like that, and people would come to these, and we called them event junkies. They would come to these events and they'd hear us speak, and they would get so much information overload, and then they'd go home and they would do nothing, because they were too overwhelmed with it. So it's no, listen to this 2 or 3 times, because each time you listen to it and you write down the first thing, then the next time you listen to it, you're gonna hear something different and something different and something different, and that's the whole point of this. So Damian, how did you have fun?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. You guys are amazing. I hope the audience can get some good stuff out of it. Grab one thing at a time, just one concept, and implement it. Maybe implement it for a few weeks, master that concept, and then come back. I think we share. I'm not a master at anything. I'm not. I'm not. You guys did an amazing presentation. You guys did an amazing presentation with all my numbers, and it's not me. It's my team. It's the people around me that are. We're succeeding together. But grab one thing, one concept, implement it. You can probably Google me and reach out to me if you have any questions, if you want to know about real estate,
Oh, yeah. Or just look at any sign on any corner in any city, because Damian and Argo is about to conquer the world. Yeah. So, well, guys, we had a great time. I hope you all learned something really good. We're going to take this and put it on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel so you can actually see the videos and see us and see my weird, wacky face and all the expressions that I'm doing and everything like that. It's more entertaining. Subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you guys are listening. We do a new episode every single Tuesday. We launch a new episode, and that's what we're here for. I've said it. I've done videos on it. I hope I never get paid for another consulting gig. I hope I never have to jump on another plane and go into a business and help them grow, because we have millions of business owners listening and subscribing to the podcast. We want to give all of our 20 years, between the two of us, 40 years, and then between you is probably 45, 50 years of knowledge. We want to give away all this knowledge for absolutely free. We want to help businesses grow. We want to change the world. We want to help these guys take it from 50,000 to 150,000 to 1.5 million to 10 million to 60 million and 120 million. And that's what we're going to do each and every week in these different episodes. So subscribe, tune in, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye-bye, Damian.
Thank you, guys.
See you later, Troy.
Later.